Where were you the day David Bowie died? This may be an insensitive comparison, but for music fans, that terrible memory is as vivid as the 11th of September 2001. I can't believe it's been almost 10 years. I remember everything about it. Not only do I remember the day itself, but I remember the excitement of the preceding days. The second David Bowie album in 3 years. It was becoming routine. Perhaps he would start touring again, maybe come to Ireland. In fact, when I woke up on 10th of January 2016 and a David Bowie related story popped up on my phone notifications, my brain initially assumed that he had announced a world tour. Instead, he was dead. I was grumpy at the time that the world reanalyzed Black Star through the prism of Bowie's death. It doesn't matter one way or another, but my 18-year-old self had a point. Some of the songs, like Sue or In a Season of Crime, were recorded and released before the cancer diagnosis. The director of the Lazarus video has stated that he had no intention of referring to Bowie's illness. Black Star was probably not the delicately crafted farewell gift many fans suppose, but if reflecting on Bowie's final days enhances this work for you, then so be it. My 18-year-old self had a bigger problem. I didn't like the music that much, and I still don't. Lazarus, single number 2, gets off to a strong start. The eerie riff, played either on a high-pitched bass or low-pitched guitar, matches well with the reverbed drum beat. And then the star of the show, the brass. The descending 3-note melody is more than melancholic, it is aptly funereal. That melody is passed on to the electric guitar, which harmonizes beautifully. One line goes up, one line goes down. So far, so good. Bowie's voice is understandably frail at this stage, and even in the A section, it is not my favourite part of the track, though it is not yet a noticeable weakness. With the opening lyrics, it is little wonder that many fans thought Bowie was addressing them directly from beyond the grave. One reason I never bought the revisionist analysis of Black Star is that Bowie had been making songs about death his entire career. Take the 1971 masterpiece Quicksand. With its highbrow philosophical references, this is the kind of song my 17-year-old self would have understood better than I do. I don't know exactly what Bowie is singing about, but the words feel deliberately crafted. He is singing about something specific. The line, "Don't believe in yourself," may sound meaningless to some ears, but it could be a reference to the Buddhist idea that the self is an illusion, and only when we see through this illusion do we attain true freedom. The most eye-catching line in the song, though, is of course, "Knowledge comes with death's release." Could you imagine if Bowie had sung that line in 2016? The internet would have lost its mind. Bowie's work was laced with death even earlier than Quicksand. Take Please Mr. Gravedigger, the closer from Bowie's 1967 debut, a song told from the perspective of a child murderer.
Please, Mr. Gravedigger, don't feel ashamed as you dig little holes for the dead and the maimed.
It never got more explicit though than when Bowie covered Jacques Brel's My Death on the Ziggy Stardust tour in the early 70s. Maybe this is because it's a cover, but the topic here feels a little more abstract, performative. We don't get the sense of a man struggling through an illness. If anything, it feels like this is Ziggy singing, not David, so it's unlikely to send a chill down the spine. Still, could you imagine if Bowie had sung these words in 2016?
My death waits like an old true wine.
My two abiding David Bowie memories both involved me waking up from a peaceful slumber. I was 15 years old, in the middle of my after-school nap, when I was roused awake by the announcement that David Bowie was to release his first album in 10 years, the next day. Now overshadowed by Black Star, it's easy to forget the rapturous acclaim the next day received. What's also lost to history is all the death stuff. The cover art alone could be read as a commentary on Bowie's mortality. The title track features a rousing declaration that Bowie is not quite dying, though his body is left to rot in a hollow tree. Where Are We Now is full of pining for Bowie's artistic peak in the late 1970s, when he was recording the iconic Berlin trilogy. Or Where Does the Grass Grow, with its references to graveyards, boys lying in the mud, and most eerily of all, the line, implying that the next day is nothing but death itself. Could you imagine if Bowie had sung this line in You Get My Point? Black Star came out the same year I started my English degree, so perhaps that's why I was irked by a lot of the specious readings that began to circulate in the wake of Bowie's death. One thing I learned early doors in university is that you can read almost anything into any piece of art, which can make cultural commentary meaningless. The analogy I used at the time, and I still think it's a good one, is that of a blank piece of paper. If I held up a blank piece of paper and asked you to say what it meant, I'm sure you could come up with something. Maybe it's about spiritual emptiness, or a commentary on nihilism, or the monotony of marriage. Black Star proves that we partly create the art we consume. In fact, on the 7th of January, 3 days before You Know What, Pitchfork published a review of Black Star, reading it as an album about resurrection, not death. Bowie's death changed how we all listened to the album. We began to look for clues that may or may not have actually been there. Lazarus begins to lose steam in the B section. This is where Bowie's lack of energy becomes a problem. This section requires a passionate, rousing vocal, something akin to the chorus of Life on Mars. Bowie tries, but does not reach those kind of emotional heights. Some of the lyrics, especially I was looking for some ass, spoil the mood. For some reason, it always sounds weird when Bowie says the word ass. Listen back to Ziggy Stardust. With God-given ass. For all his groundbreaking androgyny, it seemed that Bowie underneath it all was a polite English gentleman, the kind of person who considers ass a vicious curse. The track never gets back on track. The A section works well as an introduction, but it's not very satisfying to return to. Perhaps he could have taken some pointers from his younger self. The aforementioned Quicksand begins with a simple melody played over a strummed guitar. I'm closer to the golden dawn. As the song moves along, Bowie repeats that melody but brings it up a tone. And the twisted name on Garbo's eyes. The song takes so many dynamic leaps that to return to the introduction would have been too much of a come down. So when Bowie does repeat that melody, it's the raised version he goes for. I'm not a prophet or a Stone Age man. I think Lazarus would have been a better song if it had moved in an entirely new direction after the A section, something more akin to the structure of Black Star's title track. On that song, we are given time to forget the creepy "in the Villa of Amen" part, so that when it eventually returns at the song's conclusion, it feels like a homecoming. In the Villa of Amen stands a solitary candle. On Lazarus, the A section comes back a little too soon. One thing about the song's epilogue that is killer is the simple electric guitar hammer-on. The final sound on the final David Bowie single, perhaps a symbol of the inevitable decay of the human form and the coming extinction of the human race. Shit, now I'm doing it. Look, there's a monster sleeping underneath your bed. He crept in through the window now, he's underneath your bed. All the adults tell you it's just one of your bad dreams, but they're fast asleep as the monster crawls into your sheets.
had to get the train from Potsdamer Platz. You never knew that I could do that, just walking the dead. Sitting in the jungle under Bergerstraße, a man lost in time near Cardiff, just walking the dead. Where are we now? Where are we now? The moment you know, you know, you know. 20,000 people cross Berzabuka. Fingers are crossed just in case. Walking the dead. Where are we now? Where are we now? The moment you know, you know, you know. As long as there's sun, as long as there's sun, as long as there's rain, as long as there's rain, as long as there's fire, as long as there's fire, as long as there's me, as long as there's you. It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair, but her mummy is yelling no, and her daddy has told her to go, but her friend is nowhere to be seen. Now she walks through her sunken dream to the seat with the clearest view, and she's hooked to the silver screen. But the film is a saddening bore, for she's lived
Was there life on Mars?
It's on America's tortured brow that Mickey Mouse has grown up a cow. Now the workers have struck for fame, 'cause Lennon's on sale again. See the mice in their million hordes, from Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads. Rule Britannia is out of bounds, to my mother, my dog and clowns. But the film is a sad thing more, 'cause I wrote it 10 times or more. It's about to be writ again, as I ask you to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's a freakiest show. Take a look at the law man beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if you'll ever know. This is the best-selling show. Is there life on Mars?
Death waits like an old white, so confident I'll go his way. Whistle to him and the passing time. My death waits like Bible truth at the funeral of my youth. Are we proud for that and the passing time? My death waits like a witch at night, as surely as our love is bright. Let's not think about the passing time, but whatever lies behind the door, there is nothing much to do. Angel or devil, I don't care, for in front of that door there is you. My death waits like a
beggar blind who sees the world through an unlit mind. Throw him a dime for the passing time. My death waits there between your thighs. Your cool fingers will close my eyes. Let's think of that and the passing time. My death waits to allow my friends a few good times before it ends. So let's drink to that and the passing time. But whatever lies behind the door, there is nothing much to do. Angel or devil, I don't care. For in front of that door, there is you. My death waits there among the leaves, in magicians' mysterious sleeves, rabbits and dogs and the passing time. My death waits there among the flowers, where the blackest shadow cowers. Let's pick lilacs for the passing time. My death waits there in a double bed, sails of oblivion at my head. So pull up the sheets against the passing time. But whatever lies behind the door, there is nothing much to do. Angel or devil, I don't care. For in front of that door, there is. Thank you.
Great. Very good. Come on, sit down. That sounded great. It sounded great. That sounded great. You've come back. David's got a new album out. It's called Reality. It has had rave reviews everywhere. I mean, it's been so well received.
It's been lovely, isn't it?
That must be incredible. I
It's
guess
been very good.
you hope things are going to be well received, but to get that kind of response.
Well, firstly, you know, the way round it is you hope your own audience like it first.
Yeah.
That's the major kind of priority. But go back on that, I hope that myself and Tony Visconti would know that we'd done a good album, you know, and we liked it a lot. We thought this is good, and our own particular audience like it, and now it seems like, you know, it's been very well accepted. Well, it's lovely. That's great, isn't it?
It was a pretty quick turnaround between Heathen and this, though. I'm used to waiting for a while between albums, and this was just, it was just under a year, was it?
I know, it's incredible. The next one's out in 5 weeks, as we were talking the other day.
You finished it?
I'm just about on the mixing stage now, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know I say this to most people when they come on. I try and be polite about people's appearance, but you do look pretty remarkable.
I think it was pretty scruffy. I was taking note of what Miss Mafia was saying, and I felt, oh, dear, I should have put a suit on.
That is a whole other world,
Like
isn't
Jack,
it?
you know? I mean, he looked like, you know...
He looked like an accountant.
Why did you spoil it?
A very suave.
Yeah. If Brian Ferry had
He's
been
a
an
lot
accountant...
funnier, a lot funnier than my accountant, I'll tell you that.
Well, that's damning with faint praise, isn't it? Yeah, have that on your poster, Jack. Funnier than an accountant.
Funnier than David Bowie's accountant.
But you do seem to be really full of life, really keen to engage an audience again.
I
Really
can't wait to tour, you know. The promo thing is it's nice being on your show. I love being on
you.
your show because you're funny and it's light and you get to play some songs and all that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you end up doing a day of just one interview after another, all day long, and there's no relief, there's no levity. It's just like...
And does that feel weird for you?
That's hard. I want to go on tour because it's such a relief to go on tour and actually enjoy myself and play all the songs that we've written and recorded, you know?
When you're talking about yourself like that, do you find people go over the same things? I've noticed even, I've read a couple of the recent interviews and people are still talking about your years of drug use.
It's inevitable, you know. Yeah, you get stuck with the 7 or 8 pieces of information that they have to hand on their check cards back at the newspaper. David Bowie, oh yeah, bisexual, drugs, likes cats, whatever it is they have on their checklist, you know. And
that's one thing we have in common.
Yeah, well, you like your cats a little too much.
Yeah, well... As long as it's consensual and harming no one, David. Here now, I have a bone to pick with you, David. OK, you know what? I feel you're letting me down a little.
That was a smutty look.
No. Here's the deal.
What's the bone you want to pick?
Well, now, you don't make videos like you used to make videos anymore.
No, I made one this year. That's a lie, actually. I'm not in it.
You're not in it. That's what I'm saying. It's not the same. Yeah. And I want to see you... I remember when Ashes to Ashes came out, and everyone... I'm not speaking just for myself. We were so excited, weren't we? This great video came out, and it was a new look, and it was strange, and there you are walking down the beach, and there's Boy George, never mind, but it was great.
It wasn't Boy George, it was the other one. What's his
Steve
name?
Strange.
Steve Strange, yes. Yeah,
Wasn't Boy George... Boy George was there as well, wasn't he?
No.
Let's ask some... Was Boy George there? No. See? He was there. We'll double yes in later.
Isn't it a worry when you've got an authoritative audience? I was born on January the 9th, 1947. True? See, they know.
But you have got one of the most rabid followings, and I mean that nicely. They really are seriously devoted, aren't they?
They're seriously nuts, yeah.
And we've had a group of people coming down from Liverpool, I believe, and have been waiting outside all morning. You know?
That was that bloke.
Yeah. And of course, you know what? You know, you've got a bunch of Liverpudlians outside. Everyone's worried about their cars. You know, it's like. Let me ask you something. Earlier this week, David did a special gig, I guess, to get ready, warmed up for the tour. But a very special gig here in London, playing.
Just to flog the album, actually.
Well, flogging the album, I guess. But it was a terrific gig to be at. But what was interesting was there was a kind of. It was the first time this has been done, I believe. It was beamed live. It was broadcast live to 68 cinemas. Yeah. In 22 different countries.
I believe so, yeah.
Now, was this your idea? Whose idea was this?
No, it's Sony. They said that they had a system where they could make it interactive, where the audiences in the different, you know, countries could phone their questions in. We had quite a good time with that.
Because I was there, and there were people trying to phone in the questions, but the technology didn't really work as well as it might, did it?
Do you know, I got some reports that, admittedly, they didn't turn the front 2 speakers on. It was in 5.1 sound, right? Surround sound.
So it's like you're there, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's no lead singer.
A little bit of a problem.
But the majority of the places, it was an absolute success.
And afterwards, there was a question and answer session. And,
that was the funny part.
Yeah, there were bits where I was helping out the evening. It was great fun for me, and I said, we got a question from Amsterdam, and we had this kind of weird, which is how often people speak over there, but it wasn't that. It was, we just couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
And in London, nothing. We were 3 miles from Leicester Square, we had nothing. We could have opened the bloody window and shouted that it heard us.
It was mine, you see. Like, okay, once you've done it...
We missed the mime.
Yeah, well, no, we don't.
I bet you... Well, just do Trapped in a Box. I'm David Blaine. All of me kidneys.
See, it becomes topical suddenly.
What do you make of that, the David Blaine thing in the box?
I couldn't care less.
You're saying that, but you know...
No, I agree with Jack. It's not my thing, I don't.
David, it's lovely having you back, it really is.
Thank you so much, John.
Everything's going well, the family are nice and
they're lovely, yeah.
They're
nice, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
The family are nice.
Because I know sometimes she can probably be crabby. I met your wife once. I think she quite fancy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my little one.
No. But I think, man, she quite fancy. Did she mention me?
Yeah.
David, there's no need to be jealous about it.
No,
I mean...
she said, who was that big tall man?
She doesn't talk like that.
She does when she's with people like you.
She did, I tell you.
No, she had a lovely time.
Did she? Oh, I'm really pleased to hear that. She
nice,
is
man.
Absolutely stunning, is she not?
Yeah.
You know, I know you couldn't say so many people, but she could actually do better than you. I mean, most women paired up with you, they say, I can't believe it. Look, man, she probably thinks, yeah, I made a mistake, maybe. David Bowie is going to be performing another track for us on the show right now, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you're doing, I guess when you go on tour, you'll be doing most of the new album.
Yeah.
And a smattering of oldies?
Yeah, we go back to, like, The Heathen, things like that.
Yeah. But that's not really an oldie, is it?
In my book, you know, when you got mind memory problems, yeah, that's an oldie.
Yeah, because I noticed something like you haven't learned these new songs properly, have
No,
you?
I've got a big book over there with the words in.
Which I think is
Well, the
cheap.
amazing thing is, it's an incredible thing. If I don't have the book with me, I will definitely forget the words. If I've got the book out there, as long as it's turned at the right page, I'll remember the words of the song
That's
that I'm
strange.
doing. It's really odd.
Hey, if you do forget the words when you're in a concert, what do? You just make up some new ones?
I just laugh at the band.
Yeah. So you blame them,
Well, I look at this lot, and the front row will tell me what the words are.
They do, yeah. Your fans, very devoted fans.
Yeah, they are. They're great.
I noticed a lot of them tried to touch you the other night. Which must be quite pleasant sometimes, alarming at others.
Go on, Dave. £5. Dave, £5.
But I saw one bit, I'm sure I'm not imagining this, there was a lot of people with their hands at one stage, and I saw you being, you know, you were doing the rock star thing, you were touching their hand, and there was one bloke over there, and you went, no, I won't. He wasn't giving up, and he moved round, and you were like, oh, there he is again. And then you went over there.
That was my accountant.
You know the one I mean.
That was my accountant, the one who looks like Jack D. Yeah.
David, I know you don't need it, but good luck with the tour.
Thanks very much,
When does that
Jonathan.
kick off?
I think first date is October the something or other in Copenhagen.
You know what? But it's sold. Yeah, they know, of course.
What is it? When is it? October the 7th in
You know what's so
Copenhagen.
great? You probably don't need like an organiser. You just have to put your head out the window. And go, what am I doing tomorrow?
They actually accompany me at home. They're in another room the whole time.
That must be lovely for you.
It's terrific. Good dinners.
David's going to perform live for us now. He's going to do an oldie for us. He's going to do Modern Love for us.
I would love to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in saying thank you to both his band and Mr. David Bowie himself.
Thank you.